so many things that are happening in your life. I think as women, we're so emotional depending on the situations that we're in and what's happened. And if you haven't addressed some of the things that you've gone through, meeting with Roxanne can bring all of that out. You know, you thought you've coped with certain things, you thought you dealt with certain things, and you didn't realize how much of that has gone into your look and what you wore and how that transpired. It really connects, and it just really connects, and you don't know. It's just clothes. It was actually more than that. And so meeting with her forced me to look at me. You get involved in everything else. You're not looking at yourself in the mirror anymore. You found yourself in a spot to where you're like, yeah, I don't want to look at myself in the mirror anymore because I know I'm not what I used to be. And you know you've gotten to the point where you don't want to be, but you don't know how far you've gone with that. So you just don't want to address it. I was forced to address investing in me, looking at me, what's going on with you. And that was really emotional. Before we even began talking and before she even showed up, I was like, oh my God. But it was well worth it. It was time to address, why haven't you paid attention to you? Why have you stopped investing in you? Why did you stop serving you? And a lot of emotional strings came with that. So I was forced to go down each one of those paths and reckon with what that was for me. And close the door, open some doors, and just let all of that out so that I can do this. And it was eye-opening how emotional that was. I think that caught me off guard, how emotional that was for me. I think life takes a toll on you, and you get in the routine and you're caring for everyone else, your job, your children, your husband, friends, and you get into that routine of caring for everyone else, and you just kind of lose yourself in that. You lose yourself in that, and you stop serving you. You stop serving yourself because you're serving everyone else. And by the time you realize it 10, 20 years from now, you're like, okay, who am I? That individual is gone because you stopped serving you. And then when you start to turn that around to start serving you again, you've realized how much you've lost. You're no longer the 20-year-old, the 21-year-old, 25-year-old, 30-year-old you once were. And the body has changed, the mindset has changed, what you used to like has changed, all of that has changed. So now you're stuck. You're like, oh my gosh. All I know is t-shirts and jeans. That's easy. I'm just going to pull that, you know, and you just don't really realize what serves you or doesn't serve you. You just get what's comfortable. And you got to a point to where you're like, okay, I'm totally out of touch. I have no clue what to do. And that's where I found myself. I had clothes from high school. I've had clothes throughout the 20 years or 30 years or so before I realized nothing in my closet represents the woman I am today. And so that's what my closet looked like. And that's why I couldn't pick anything, because it wasn't who I was. But I didn't know how to formulate that in my clothes, you know? So when I went to shop, I was really lost. I used to know what to do, but for who I am today, I had no clue what to do when I went shopping. You know, caring for your children, your family, you get engrossed in your career, you get engrossed in raising your children and caring for others. You know, we have so many different situations in our home life. You just really get engrossed in those things, and you find later that you weren't part of that equation. And you get to a point you're like, wow, I have not paid attention to me. I have stopped investing in me. I stopped paying attention to what was going on with myself. So when the children leave the house, right? You're empty nesters, or you get older in your career, you begin to retire. In my case, I'm retiring soon. So I'm like, okay, I don't have clothes. Once I come out of this uniform, I'm military. So once you come out of the uniform, what does that look like? I don't know. So I think when you come to those milestones and pinnacles in your life, that's when it hits you like, probably need to start paying attention to me. You're kind of forced to, and it's a good thing. And then when you go through this experience, It's emotional because you should have done that a lot sooner than now. It's important to pull out of that inner you who you are, because it is. Your image reflects you, inward and outward. More so inward, that the outward tells everyone who you are inside. Once you get those things in sync, it's a full package. You can't ignore one or the other. And most times we feel, oh, you should be able to see my character. You should be able to see who I am. But if your outside doesn't reflect that, it's hard to see who you are on the inside. You have to have both of those things synced. And it sounds silly because it's superficial, right? You just need to look on the outside. You can't judge a book by its cover. You can't, but it adds to that person on the inside, and it has to be in sync. And it just shows so much more confidence in who you are. And it shows others that you know who you are. I had a closet that didn't serve me. It was a style that I was into when I was younger that just no longer fits my lifestyle and environment that I'm in right now. For example, I had heels, like high heels, you know. When you're younger, you're going out a lot. I'm not doing that as a mom right now. That's not my lifestyle. I still have a young child, he's 5, and I have a 14-year-old, so I'm still the mom. We're going to do summer things, we got soccer, we've got this. I'm not doing high heels at this stage of my life anymore. Now, when I go out with my husband, got it. I got 1 or 2 pairs. The transformation, she picked up what that environment was like for me. She knew me, she knew my personality, she knew I wasn't just flip-flops and tennis shoes either. So she was able to marry that and say, okay, here's where she is in her life, and here is still her personality that came out in that. So that was like wild to me that she was able to pick that up. And still gave me tips and helped me visualize that when I do move towards a city or get back into a lifestyle where I'm more active and it's more about me, that I can transition into some of that look from what I have today. So she picked it up perfectly. It was just eye-opening. It was like, okay, I can still look cute and comfortable and still not, stand out too much, but stand out for me. It was just a perfect match. It was awesome. You hear people talking about brand. That's a big thing these days, your brand. Oh, that's still a reflection of who is this that sits in front of me, and how do you want to project to someone else that sees you? Your first time meeting them, your interpersonal skills when someone meets you. What do you want that to look like? So that's important, and for you, when your children are watching you and they see that you are not as confident in yourself or your image and how you represent yourself, then what does that do for them? And we're trying to build our children in confidence, we're trying to build them in their social life and interpersonal skills, but yet we're not investing in ourselves. We're not paying attention to ourselves. We don't have confidence in ourselves. And this is why this is important. So that brings that out, and wow, my mom is awesome. Oh, wow, my mom really, shows up. Wow, my mom is present. Wow, my mom is showing confidence, and I can be that way too. That's what this was for me. And it was emotional because I had not been showing that. It was more work. It was, let's get you what you're doing, but being who I am and bringing that out is important to my children as well. And so that's emotional because you should have been doing that a long time ago. But I'm here now, and it's good, and it's okay. And he's watching me now, and he's loving this new me, loving the smiles, when you're depressed or your anxiety and you have all these different things going on. Your face shows it, your body language shows it. So the transformation also includes your body language. You're not as drab. You're not like, okay. You're not, all of that shows up when you have this transformation. It changes you. And it just gives off a different vibe. And that vibe also reflects on your children. That's the most important thing in the world to me, is my family. And so how I project myself is important, just as important as how I project myself to my children. My wardrobe did not reflect my age, my personality. It was just out of style, outdated. This really brought me into the 21st century. And it's grown up. I feel grown up. I have a youthful look anyway, so my clothes, it just made me look too young. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting of age and I want to look my age. I look my age. And it's awesome. It's comfortable, it's soft. I have what you may call problem areas or flaws, but you wouldn't know it because of how I'm able to be so comfortable in my dress and my wear right now. And I think that's important too. Lots of times we're hiding certain areas that we are very self-conscious about. And you wouldn't know what that area is right now because of how comfortable I am in this jacket. So it's awesome. It's warm. It feels like butter. And again, you can't see what I'm self-conscious about. So I'm even more comfortable in my wear. And it just makes me smile because I don't have to hold myself in a certain way or sit a certain way. You know, I can be me. So it's a dickie under a jacket, a blazer. And I wasn't a fan of leopard animal print. And I'm totally changed. It just works.